Om Durjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Mucceta Bandebhyo Muktaschanyan Vimochaye. O Lord, please bless every being on this entire universe. Let all the wicked people be converted into good people, pious people. Let all the pious people strive for emancipation. Let the emancipated people, or liberated people, help others to attain emancipation and the bliss. Oh, peace, peace, peace. My dear devotees, previous week there was an internet glitch. So I was go on doing the class, or I was taking the class. Then afterwards I came to know after maybe 27 or 30 minutes, most of them they were unable to hear my talk, or the stream was disconnected. I'm sorry for that. And I hope today it will not happen or it will not repeat. We are discussing Narada's Bhakti Sutras. The great celestial sage Narada has composed sutras or formulas on bhakti, the supreme love or devotion. And initially, in my first class itself, I did say that how Narada himself was the greatest devotee. He dedicated his life for God realization. Though he was born in a poor family in the corner of a village, and his father was unknown, and only he had a mother, and mother also passed away at early age. But by sheer his willpower, practice, steadfastness, and devotion towards the Lord or God, it made him to attain that greatest place or the position, celestial sage called Devarshi. So by devotion and self-effort or God's grace, any common being or any being can even attain this position called Devarshi or celestial sage. And that great person, out of his experience, it is not mere intellectual speculation, out of his experience, he has given the sutras or formulas about the devotion, the supreme love. Now, 28th sutra, that is Tasyaha Gnanameva Sadhanam Ityeke. Tasyaha, of that is bhakti or devotion, Gnanam, knowledge, eva, only, sadhanam, the means or the path, iti thus some. Means, according to some philosophers, according to some people, devotion is the goal and the knowledge is the means or the path. Devotion can be generated, a devotion can be attained through knowledge only. Again, it is not the opinion of Narada, it is the opinion of some others. So he's only quoting here. So here we can remember the Christ saying, Jesus Christ says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." The Lord Buddha says, right understanding is the first step in the Ashtanga Yoga or in the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, we can remember here. In the Jainism, in the Ratnatraya or the typical panacea for the cure of samsara, there the first panacea is the right knowledge. So from this we can understand even every philosopher, every saint in different philosophies, they have given a lot of importance to knowledge. And probably even in some of the classes I have said. The non dualistic philosophy, the Advaita Vedanta, opines that by Karma Yoga, path of selfless action, one attains purity of mind, and by worshipping the Lord, by upasana or meditation, one attains chitta ekagrata, that is concentration of the mind. And through knowledge alone, we get self realization. Then, according to the Bhakti schools of Vedanta, through Karma Yoga, one attains purification of the mind, no doubt, but by knowledge of God, knowledge about God, that is the intermediary position. By having the knowledge about the God, it helps to attain or achieve or to increase our devotion. So, this is the difference between the Gnana schools of Vedanta and the Bhakti schools of Vedanta. Now, probably the Narada is trying to quote the Bhakti schools of Vedanta. So, according to them, the Gnana is the means to attain the Bhakti. Whereas in the non dualistic philosophy, the Bhakti is the means to attain Gnana, not realization. So, this we have to understand. And Sri Ramakrishna also says, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also says, if one does not know about God, to whom the devotion is directed, how can one have devotion? So, knowledge is necessary. Gnana Mishrita Bhakti, or more than that, knowledge is packed with the devotion is required. And because he says, how can you love someone unless you know him? There is another kind of bhakti called Gnana Bhakti, which is love of God based on reasoning. Here we can see very clearly in the life of Bhishma, in the life of Vidura, in the life of Dhritarashtra, or in the life of Arjuna. So they are all different, people, characters comes in Mahabharata. They were all aware about Krishna, the greatness of Krishna. That's the reason they all surrendered at the feet of Krishna. Say, for an example, when the Kurukshetra war was supposed to begin, it is just like a world war. Arjuna, on behalf of Pandavas, he went to seek the help from Sri Krishna. Similarly, from Kaurava's side, Duryodhana, the crown prince himself, had gone to seek the help from Krishna. Krishna, he saw first Arjuna and he asked, "Oh Arjuna, my dear, you have come. How can I help you? How can I serve you?" Arjuna says, "My dear Lord, or my dear friend, you know that the Kurukshetra war is yet to begin, yet to start. So I have come to seek the help in this regard." Then Sri Krishna said, "Okay, but the condition is I will be one side and the 11 Akshoini Sainya of mine, where it runs to lakhs of people, hundreds, thousands of soldiers. They will be one side. And I will not fight and I will not lift any weapon even. Now you have to choose between me or between my huge army." Now, any person who has got intelligence, who has got bit common sense, even not intelligence, bit common sense, he opts for army, huge army, where they're all equipped with all the weapons. And it is a well trained, huge army equipped with weapons. So definitely, any common person who has got a common sense, he will opt, "Okay, Krishna, thank you for your offer. I will opt, I will select for army." But on the contrary, Arjuna said, "My dear Lord, we want you only." Krishna says, "Look, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to lift any weapon, hold weapon, anything in the war." Though he was one of the greatest person who could do fighting, but he said, "I'm not going to do it. So whether you want me or you want my big, huge, well-equipped, well-trained army." The Arjuna said, "My dear Lord, I want you alone. I don't want your huge army." Krishna said, "Okay, as your wish." Then Duryodhana turn came. Krishna asked Duryodhana. Duryodhana was very happy. Earlier he was very anxious. Whether if Arjuna asks the entire army, what will I do with the Krishna? Oh my God, what will happen to me? He was very anxious, he was worried. Now, because Arjuna asked just for that army, Duryodhana was relieved, but just he, as if nothing happened, what to do? My younger brother Arjuna has asked for you. Now I don't have any other option other than choosing the army. Please, you can send the army for me. So hundred thousands of well-equipped soldiers with the weapons were given to Duryodhana or Kauravas. Now here you see, this is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. Because Arjuna was well aware who is Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is Lord himself. He wishes anything can happen because he's omniscient, is omnipresent, and omnipotent. So he sought the help of Krishna. He took refuge at the feet of Sri Krishna. So in the Kurukshetra war, they won. Of course, by their effort and as well as with the help of Sri Krishna, they won the war. This will be this is the necessity of knowledge towards God. When we know who is Rama, when we know who is Krishna, when we know who is Jesus Christ, when we know who is Ramakrishna, automatically we'll be able to love them or we'll be able to develop the devotion towards them more. Say for an example, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna or the Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. Whenever we read these books, then definitely we'll understand who is Sri Ramakrishna, how great person he was, personality, then automatically our devotion increases. So knowledge is the means to attain the bhakti as has been discussed or as the opinion of some other philosophers. This has been told by Narada in this particular sutra. Now, some others argue that they are mutually interdependent. Either the gnana, the knowledge, and the bhakti, the love towards God, both are interdependent. Some argue that both are interdependent. That is expressed by Narada in his 29th sutra. Anyonya ashrayatvam iti manye iti anye. Anyonya, mutual, ashrayatvam, dependence, iti, thus, anye, others. According to some others, they depend upon one another. Means gnana, to have a ripened knowledge, to increase the knowledge, we need bhakti, and to attain the bhakti completely, we need knowledge. So both are interdependent. Again, iti anye, it is according to some others. So this is not the opinion of Narada, it is according to someone. And if you see rationally, logically, this makes a lot of sense. Why? If you see the mind, the power of the mind, or the faculties of the mind, we have got cognition, cognitive faculty or cognition, then volition and emotion. These are the main three faculties of the brain or the mind. So this emotion part is taken care by Bhakti Yoga. And the cognition part of the mind is taken care by Gnana Yoga. And the volition part, willpower, that is taken care by Karma Yoga. Probably whoever attended my Karma Yoga lectures, we have discussed in length how by action or by karma one's willpower can be increased. So we have got three faculties of the mind, important. So through three yogas, we'll be able to harness them. So that is the reason we need all the three yogas. They're complementary to each other. They're not contradictory to each other. This is one of the very well-balanced state or opinion according to me. So to have a balance in our life and to have a complete growth in our personality, we need all the yogas. Why? If intellect refuses the aid of feeling and will, it remains dry intellectual dogma. If love is unassisted by intellectual and will, it may be blind sentimentalism. And if the will is not helped by knowledge and love, it remains mere meaningless and aimless activity. We can see in the life of demons. In the demons, they had a strong willpower. They did tapasya, penance for hundreds of years. and they got some extraordinary powers from the god, and they used for destruction of the society as well as self-destruction. They had a strong willpower, but knowledge and devotion was there, not there. Similarly, scientists sometimes are the great intellectuals. They have got so much knowledge. They invent so many things, but at the same time, because of lack of character, because of lack of emotional purity and willpower, because of weak mind, their knowledge is used in the destructive purpose. And sometimes, just emotional people, they don't think, they don't have willpower to control their emotions. Again, it is a site of a type of weak mind also. Mere emotional brutes, like they will be doing all nasty things. So mere emotionalism, mere intellectual, mere willpower, it will not work. One has to support it by each other. Then it will be taken care. The life will be taken care. Now, there is a 30th verse. Now, Narada, after giving explanation or opinions of after stating others' opinions, now he is stating his own opinion. Swayam Falarupata iti Brahma Kumaraha. Sometimes in Indian tradition, there is a way of telling. They don't tell about I because it is a way of ignorance. It indicates ignorance or ego. Instead of that, they will use as a third person. If you see in a Western thing, oh, I am so and so, I'm Mr. So and so, who are you, like that we ask. But if you see in the Indian tradition earlier days, I belong to a particular lineage, I follow such Veda, I follow such Sutra, I am coming from that lineage, and my forefathers are such rishis, and my father name is so and so, and I am the son of so and so. So my name was told at the end, and lineage and others were told. That is what our introduction was there. So that I had to be kept aside. See the beauty of the culture, the beauty of the thinking. Oh, I am so and so. We keep on selling. Now everyone is following that. But in the old Indian system, that was not the system. And also, even when they used to address the monks, they used to also address them as a third person. Now, so, oh Swami, if you want, you can come. Are you interested, Swami? Will you come, Swami? Like that, we ask here. But in India, in the traditional system, they used to say, if Swamiji wills, we will be happy to receive him. If Swamiji wishes to come, we will be happy to receive him. So, so they also used to is a third person. So probably from that angle, Narada himself is saying, according to me, or according to my opinion, what is devotion? He could have said. Instead of that, he's using the third person. According to Brahma Kumaraha, who is sage Narada? Narada is the son of Brahma, that is Lord Brahma, who is the creator God. So, Brahma Kumara, according to sage Narada, or according to Brahma Kumara, Swayam Falarupata iti. Devotion is the bhakti itself is an effect. Means bhakti is an independent path. It doesn't depend on anything. It is the means, the devotion, the supreme love towards God is an independent means, and it is the means and it is the end in itself. That's what according to sage Narada. So it is not through knowledge bhakti is achieved, rather the bhakti is achieved by bhakti itself, according to Narada. Now, when these things, if you study deeply only, you will be able to understand what they are making to say. The action, any action you do, action gives four types of results. Either it can be materialistic result, or even mental purification, or internal results. All things can be broadly classified into four categories. What is that? The action can produce a product. For example, a pot. A potter brings the clay, he removes the stones, he nicely filters the clay powder, and nicely he waters, he husks it, and afterwards he puts on the wheel and he prepares a beautiful pot, a product. A pot called product has been prepared from his action. with the help clay, no doubt. So similarly, I take a cotton, I clean it, and afterwards I weave it, I make thread, and all the threads put together, then a shirt is made. Shirt is a product that is called utpadya. So from action, we can prepare some products. Then the second is apya, means a result in form of reaching. Now some devotees have come here, they have reached here, Vedanta society, from their respective places. Oh, what are you doing? I am trying to reach my goal. I am trying to attain my goal. I am trying to reach Dublin. I am trying to reach Germany. I am trying to reach Ireland. So by action, we can reach to the particular goal or particular destiny or particular place. That is called apya. Then the third is samskarya, cleaning, removal of all the impurities. That is probably, for an example, food has been given or some grains have been given for us, then we see there are so many small stones were mixed in that. Then we remove the stones or pebbles from the lentils, and afterwards it becomes fit for cooking. We cook and we eat. So there samskarya means you remove the stone particles, unwanted particles from the lentils. So from actions we purify. The simple example is as soon as you get up the early morning, you take a bath and you remove the dirt on this body, samskarya. Then the fourth is called vikarya. It is a form of modification. By our action, we try to do some modifications. A milk to yogurt. You heat the milk, then you keep at particular place and you add some yogurt and you don't disturb it in a day or in one night, slowly the milk will be converted into yogurt. So that is called vikarya. So actions can produce either any of one. Now, so is the same way like this the bhakti? No, bhakti is not the product. Bhakti is not reaching. Bhakti is not removal of impurities, or bhakti is not a modification. So this is what underline argument in this a simple formula. That is the beauty of these formulas like our sutras. The huge idea, very great idea, or very vast idea has been embedded in one or two or three words. So that's why we have to do a lot of homework to understand these things. Means bhakti is independent in itself. That is what, according to says Narada. Then what is bhakti? So you should remember my first class, the supreme love towards God. And why should we love God? By that, we will get anything and everything. Material prosperity also you will get, and liberation also you will get, and you will get basically the bliss. We all struggle to get the happiness. We all struggle to be peaceful. We all struggle to get that bliss. And how is attained? How that can be attained? It can be attained by devotion or simple love towards God. We have got love towards materialistic prosperity. We have got love towards name and fame. We have got love towards power position. We have got love towards people, opposite sex. We are not speaking of all these things. We are speaking of love towards God. That is what devotion or bhakti. From that, one can lead happiest life, blissful life, carefree life. And now, after saying that bhakti alone is the means and end in itself, now the Narada, the celestial sage Narada, is giving the rational or the logic behind it, how it is, why it is, the bhakti is independent in itself, it doesn't need knowledge. Rajagruha Bhojanadishu Tathaiva Drushtatvat. Rajagruha, the palace, the king's palace, Bhojana, food, Adishu, and so on, or etc. Tathaiva, in the same way, Drushtatvat, it is seen. Now, by seeing the palace, what I'm going to get, I may feel happy, that's all. I'm not going to get the palace. Okay? I am hungry now. I would like to have the food, and there are so many delicacies were kept in a shop or in a hotel. I was passing by, I saw so many different type of delicacies they have prepared and they have kept on the table, or they're serving to the different people. Just I saw them. Does it fulfill or does it quench my hunger? It doesn't. By seeing the palace, do I get that palace? I don't get. I am not the owner of that palace. So, just like by seeing the palace, I don't get the palace, or similarly, by seeing the food, my hunger is not fulfilled. So, similarly, just if you have a knowledge about God, or just you have knowledge about devotion, that is not enough. So, this is what the underlying argument in this particular sutra. In the 32nd also, he continues. Natena rajaparitoshaha kshuda shantirva. Na, neither, tena, from that. Rajaparitoshaha, even the king is pleased, kshuda shantirva, nor appeasement of hunger. Okay, I came to know what is the palace and I saw beautifully and I have got a knowledge of the palace. Then by that, by hearing this, king is pleased. Oh, this fellow has got the knowledge about our palace, it seems. By that, king is pleased. No. So similarly, I have got a knowledge about the food, whatever is there in that particular room, or in that particular hotel, or in that someone's neighbor's house. But I have got a knowledge about the delicacies, whatever they have got. By that, my hunger is taken care? No. So similarly, I have got a knowledge about God. Who is Jesus Christ? Oh, he's a great prophet. He's the savior of the Lord. I mean, he's the savior of the world. He's a great person. Who is Swami Vivekananda? Who is Rama? Who is Krishna? Everything I can know. I know, and I can give lectures hours together. From that, does God please? No. From by knowing the knowledge or by knowing who is God or what is God, by that God is not pleased. Just like having the knowledge about the delicacies, it will not quench my thirst or hunger. Only I should have them. I should eat them. Then only I can enjoy, or my hunger is taken care. So, similarly, if you have the knowledge about God, if you knowledge about the love of God, that is devotion, that is not enough. Means you have to put into practice. That's what the Narada is saying. Further, there's a beautiful example. In India, there was a greatest sage called, is name by name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once Chaitanya went to one of the temple. There, the Bhagavad Gita, the lecture on Bhagavad Gita was going on. And in the side place, the huge temple, it was a huge temple complex. A person was sitting aside in one of the side near pillar, and he was leaning himself to the pillar, and tears were rolling down on his cheeks. Chaitanya thought, okay, this fellow is understanding Bhagavad Gita, whatever the sermon was happening by the great Pandit, so he's understanding. That's why I think he's feeling so much about God or about the soul or the self or the spirit. That's why he's crying, I think. Then Chaitanya, he approaches this a common man and he asks, oh my dear, do you understand the Bhagavad Gita? Whatever that Pandit is telling to, trying to explain, trying to teach. This old man who was leaning himself on the pillar, he said, no, I'm not able to understand what he's saying. I can't understand what he's trying to tell. Then Chaitanya was dumbfounded. Oh, is it? Then why are you crying? Then probably he has got some family problems. So is he crying? Then this old man says, no, but I am able to see the Krishna and Arjuna. They were sitting on the chariot, and the Lord Krishna is teaching something, and Arjuna is hearing something. See, the Bhagavad Gita, whatever the philosophy has been as taught by Sri Krishna, Lord Krishna, that is not able to understand. Fine. But himself, this old man is having the vision of Lord Krishna. That's why the tears are rolling down. That is the beauty of devotion. I don't know Bible. I don't know Quran. I don't know Vedas. I don't know any scripture. Never mind. But can you love God? Are you sincere in your action? If you are sincere in your action, and if you have got earning for God, and if you have got love towards God, that's enough. That's what the author is trying to tell here. Bhakti is independent, and bhakti doesn't depend on knowledge about God, knowledge about the path, all these things doesn't make surface. It is rather, it is love towards God is the thing which brings emancipation or liberation or the happiness or the bliss. So one should love God. By that love towards the God, only one can attain happiness or emancipation or liberation or attaining the God. Then what the seeker after liberation has to do. Now the sage is telling in his 33rd formula, Tasmat Saiva Grahya Mumukshuvihi. Mumukshuvihi. Who is Mumukshu? Moktum Icha Mumukshu. One who seeks after liberation, one who seeks after God realization, one who seeks after emancipation, he is called Mumukshu. Tasmat, therefore, sa eva, that bhakti alone, grahya, is to be accepted by seekers of liberation. Means bhakti is the direct means and the path should be accepted by the seekers of liberation. That is what now the Narada is going to trying to tell. So this 30, 31, 32, 33, the last four verse, I mean, sutras, Narada trying to tell that bhakti is the independent path. It is means and as well as the goal. It is an independent path and it is the means and as well as the goal called liberation. It doesn't depend on the knowledge. That's what Narada is trying to tell in this last four formulas. Now, but Sri Ramakrishna tells very clearly, no, I want to accept, I want to love God. Fine. How can I love it? Because I don't know who is the God. Okay, God is somewhere, is something, it seems, is a great person, it seems, something. I've got a very hazy idea about God. If that is the case, then can I love God? Definitely it is not possible. If I have to love God, then I should know who is he or who is she. Then only I can love God. For an example, the president of the Ireland was, I was walking in a garden or a park, and the president of the Ireland was also, he was passing by. Now I don't know, he is the president of Ireland. So just I thought, okay, some civilian is going, and I was also going and without bothering. And someone said, hey, he's the president of the Ireland. Then immediately my action, my attitude, my body language, everything changes. And if you see someone, people, hello, sir, how are you? Can we have a selfie? And they will have a selfie and immediately they'll put the status, okay, I am with the president of Ireland. Because I didn't had a knowledge about who is the president of Ireland, I never bothered. But the moment I understood is the president of Ireland, my body language changes with due respect, with so much carefulness. I try to speak with him, and probably I'll take a photo. And I will send with my friends. I will share with my friends. See, today I met the president of Ireland, or rather, I said like there is a selfie age now. We will take the selfie and we'll put in the WhatsApp and Facebook status. Because I have the knowledge now who is the president of Ireland, my reaction got changed. Similarly, if it is same thing in the day-to-day thing, same thing with the God also. If you have a knowledge about God, who is God, what is God, that is not enough, no doubt, but that will help to produce or to develop devotion. That is very important, and that is probably it is a safe stand, it is a right opinion according to me. And Sri Ramakrishna also says that one should have a knowledge about God to certain extent, to little, no doubt. That will help us to, and that will help us for developing the devotion. But whereas Sage Narada says, to have devotion, you don't need knowledge at all. So bhakti is an independent path and it doesn't depend on knowledge. It doesn't depend on knowledge. So for him, knowledge is of secondary importance, and without it also, one can attain real God realization. And that also we can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, he read only fourth grade or fourth class, and he never studied any scriptures. He never went to schooling. And he never went to some teacher and under the instructions of teacher. He didn't practice his spiritual sadhana. He had yearning for God, Whatever the songs he knew, he started singing, "O Mother, O Divine Mother, O Universal Mother, if you are there, please give me the vision." So that simple sincerity, dedication, and earning towards God made him to realize Universal Mother Kali. So that's what here Narada is trying to say. Just if you've got sincerity, if you've got devotion, if you have got yearning for God, that is enough. You need not to have the knowledge. But the problem is, how many of us we can have that sincere, that absolute sincerity, absolute love, absolute pure mind, and absolute yearning for God? Very few people can have. Very few of us can have that. That is the reason that cannot be generalized or universalized. So, in generally, we need some knowledge about the God, which will help us to develop bhakti or the devotion or the love towards God. Whomever, whichever the God you may worship, never mind. God, conscious you say, Brahman you say, Christ you say, Allah you say, Jehovah you say, whichever God it may be, supreme conscious you can say. To develop devotion, to develop love, faith towards Him, we need some knowledge. That's what we want to understand from here. Now, from 34th verse onwards to probably till few sutras, I think till 50, I think probably, the celestial sage Narada keeps on discussing what is the means or what are the means to attain this devotion or to get this devotion. Then you may also feel, or you may have a question, Swamiji, from karma or from action, you said nothing. I mean, attainment or reaching is there. So then, even from this bhakti, we attain bhakti or we reach God. Is it true? So then, does it comes under reaching the path or destination, or attaining just like preparing a product, or removing the modifications? Any of these things it comes here. The sage Narada says no. Why? Only you are removing the ignorance part. For an example, there's a beautiful sunlight outside, and some point of time again the sunlight disappears. When sunlight disappears, can I say or can you say that sun doesn't exist? Small children will think, okay, sun is disappeared somewhere. Well, if some children ask, oh, sunlight is not here, sunshade is not here, sunlight is not here, so sun is disappeared. Because of the child innocence, if they say, we feel laughing or we laugh at it. Then we say, no, my dear, sun is not disappeared, only clouds have covered the sun. So once the clouds are dispersed, when the clouds are removed, when the clouds goes other place, then you'll be able to get the sunlight, you'll be able to see the sun. So similarly, this bhakti, the love for God or love of God, is natural in us because of worldly desires or because of ignorance that is been covered, that is covered. So we feel that we have to attain something. We are not attaining something. It is only removal of ignorance, a removal of attachment or attraction towards the worldly desires or worldly accomplishments. One is intensing your love towards God and removing or the chucking your love towards the sense gratification or the worldly pleasures. And this has been told beautifully in two words by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasa Vairagya. What is this Abhyasa? Practice. What is this Vairagya? Renunciation. Oh, Swami is telling renunciation. That means what? Should we renounce our family, all our life, and we should join monasteries? No. A renunciation means it is not renouncing the world and joining the monasteries or taking the monastic vows. A renouncing the bad things, renouncing the attachment to the worldly pursuits or towards the sense gratification. To give an example, there is a huge field and it was not taken care properly. So much weeds have come there, and everywhere the mud has become just like lumps. Then Once a father thought, I mean, a person thought, okay, I have got such a huge field. I should nicely prepare and we should grow something so that our life is also taken care, my personal life, and I should be able to provide some food for society also. He thinks fine. By mere thinking, does it happen? No. By sowing the seeds, then he will be able to get the desired product? No. He has to prepare the ground first initially. Otherwise, if he sow the seeds and if he, I mean, plant the saplings, then he will not get the desired product or require how much ever he can get from that particular area of land, he cannot get. First, what he should do? He should plough the land. He should remove all the weeds, and he should break that clumps into the mud probably, and he should level the ground, remove all the weeds and break that clumps and make it proper soft, then he can sow the seeds. Now he made everything. For some reason he kept quiet. Then he couldn't come back towards his field for 1 or 2 months. Then after 1 or 2 months, he comes and says, again, same problem. So many weeds have grown. And again, that the soil has, because of rainwater, it has become clumps like. Then again, he removed the weeds. He broke all the mud pieces and he leveled the ground. Then again, if he doesn't sow the seeds or if he doesn't plant the saplings, then the same thing is going to happen. Now he sowed the seed or he planted the saplings and he started watering. Fine, slowly they are coming. But along with them, the weeds also keep coming. Oh, weed, I don't want you. Please don't come. Even if you say, even you shout, it will be keep coming. Then what you should do? You should keep on removing the weeds. Till when this plants grows nicely and it covers the entire ground, then the amount of weeds growing will be very less. So removing the weeds, preparing the land for sowing, that is called vairagya. So we have to remove the unnecessary thoughts from our mind. We have to remove all the negative thoughts from our mind. We have to remove the attitudes or beliefs or the feelings, whichever is becoming the bane, whichever is becoming the obstruction for our progress towards God or towards any goal. It may be at physical level, it may be at thought level, it may be at emotions level. So we should remove it. The weakness should be removed. We are very strong actually. So much strength has been given by God. We have to understand and we have to manifest it by exercising it. That is called vairagya. Keep away yourself from negative people and negative mind or negative emotions or from negative thoughts. One thing. So that is called vairagya. So here in the spiritual life, keep yourself away from sense gratification or indulging in the worldly pleasures. It is not that we should not live in the world. It is not that we should not eat food. It is not that we should purchase new things, good things, and we should not enjoy the life. No, we don't mean that. But don't indulge yourself in that only alone. Don't limit yourself in the worldly pursuit or in the worldly enjoyment. That's what we mean. That's what Vairagya. And Abhyasa is what? Cultivate positive thoughts. Cultivate positive habits, good habits, and try to have a good company. By having such good people's company, you will be feeling happy, you will be feeling joyful, blissful, and your progression will be quickened. Or probably they can be the contributor's personality. With such type of people we should have, and we should have positive thoughts, and we should keep on try to put into practice. That is called abhyasa. One side, we should keep on practicing good things, good habits, good thoughts, good emotions, and having a good people's company. And at the same time, we should stop negative thoughts, negative thinking, or disassociating ourselves from the negative mindset people. We need not to change them. Probably we can't change them, never mind. But at least keep away yourself from that, from them, from such type of people. So this abhyasa and vairagya is the alpha and omega of the life. Either in the materialistic life or in the spiritual life. For them, this abhyasa and vairagya are the two key words for the success, according to me. And this is not only, I mean, it is told by me even thousands of years before. Lord Sri Krishna has told that Abhyasa and Vairagya are the key words to have the control over the mind. Once you have got a control over the mind, you are a master of yourself. Once you have got a mastery, you can do anything and everything. So that's why abhyasa, that is whatever you wish, whatever it is constructive, whatever is beneficial, you should keep on doing it. Abhyasa. And what is vairagya? By which your mind is coming down, you are becoming emotionally weak, physically weak. It is either self-destructive or even it is a destruction of the society. Such type of unnecessary things you should shun, you should avoid, and you should remove them from your mind. So these things should go hand in hand. Abhyasa and Vairagya both should go hand in hand. That has been told in the next coming sutras. Now you might have thought, some might have thought, the listeners, why Swamiji started telling this Abhyasa and Vairagya here? Because in the next sutras, that's what the celestial sage, the greatest sage, Narada, is trying to tell Abhyasa and Vairagya. And there are so many other means, tools, in Bhakti is discussing from the 35th verse on, 35th sloka onwards, from the formula onwards, he starts telling Abhyasa and Vairagya. So as a base, as a introductory for this next formulas, I gave this. With this background, let us try to study few more sutras in the forthcoming classes by the grace of God. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishnarpanamastu.